This is Mercedes' second generation of their four-door coupe. It remains a statement car that is also somewhat practical. Let's drive the 2012 CLS 550 and check the tech. Let's put the CLS 550 in its place within the Mercedes model range. It's a four-door coupe of biggish executive kind of presence. It's very E-Class in its presentation in person. It's nowhere near S-Class in size or pomposity. Now don't confuse this E-Class based CLS with the S-Class based CL, which is a true coupe. It's got two doors. If you can't count doors very well, then just count the dollars. 43,000 of them separate the two models. Now, a CLS is kind of a high-tone thing, so a lot of tech comes in at base. For example, this navigation system is standard on this car. I would hope so at this price level. However, it's not that big a screen. In Mercedes fashion, it's not touchscreen, obviously. They use their command controller, which is down here with a back, a clear, and then a multifunction knob to do things. If you want to enter an address, it's pretty straightforward, although they've got this multi-ribbon thing that I've never gotten totally in love with. Top ribbon, middle ribbon, bottom ribbon. So let's try the voice controls. Enter destination.
Pre-selected state is California. Do you want to enter town first or street first?
Town.
Please say a California town name.
Now, two things I want you to notice from that short little sample. One, you don't get these annoying little beeps you have to wait for. Secondly, notice that I didn't have to say exactly what the command was on the screen. Where the system falls down, though, is dealing with voice and the phone system on certain things, like when you're trying to call up someone on the phone book. Call name.
Please say the name.
Mitchell Chang.
Think Jim. Accepted. Mobile dialing.
Who the hell think Jim? Oh, it's Jim Fink. You know, Mitch Chang, Jim Fink. So that didn't even come close. Here's your other option. Read out phone book.
Please say the name from which reading out should begin.
Mitchell Chang.
Olmsted. Rich.
Who?
Olmsted. Tina.
You see what it's doing there? It's reading out the directories from the name that I gave it. Two problems. One, it got the name completely wrong. Two, I can't tell what it's reading me. First, last, last, first. And if there's only one or the other, I don't know where it is in the sequence. AM, FM, HD radio, satellite radio, Bluetooth streaming with good metadata, a 6-disc slot with movie playback, and 10 gigabytes of hard drive space, all are standard in the entertainment rig, and it's one choice only. iPod connection, however, is optional. All of it blares out of a one-choice Harman Kardon system with 14 speakers and over 600 watts. Now in the dash, you can see a whole lot of things that are part of the optional driving technology on this car. Let's take a look. Here's my distance readout for my pre-safe braking. It's showing me where the car is spotting vehicles in front of me. Blind spot assist on or off. It uses indicators in the mirrors that, as you see, are way far out on the glass. When we get on the road, I'll tell you what I think of those. And here's your lane keep assistance. Turning that on or off. It's a stick shaker in case you're drifting across a lane and don't have the corresponding signal on. Now, I'm a big fan of things that are built into a well-designed in-dash interface, but some things shouldn't be there, like seat adjustments. And Mercedes made you do that for the longest time. Now, they're down here in a nice, sensible set of switches alongside the seat bolster. Now, up here in the engine room, you've got a big part of the CLS story. A 550, as it says on the butt of this thing, tells you it's 5.5 liters, right? But no, Mercedes gave up on that simple nomenclature years ago. Now, it doesn't mean anything. This is a 4.6-liter twin-turbo V8. You can tell by the plumbing up here right away. We've got two turbos. You can spot those down here and one over there. That gives this car 402 horsepower, and again, because it's blown, it gets 443 foot-pounds of torque. Gets this 4,200-pound beast up to 60 in just a tick over 5 seconds, and delivers 1624 mpg, which is not only pretty good for a big, fast car, but quite a bit better than the last edition of this big, fast car. This car is powerful, it's not responsive. Tons of horsepower, lots of torque, but the throttle on this car is basically a light switch, on or off. You cannot make any decent maneuvers in traffic without this. You're going back and forth all the time because the power comes on like that and then it goes away like that. It's a very hard car to drive smoothly, which should not be the case for $70,000. On top of that, you've got heavily assisted steering, it's finger light, and highly assisted brakes. The 3 different drive modes here on the console, if you go to sport mode, that puts you in a really sporty mode. It's almost impossible then not to snap your neck back and forth as the power comes on and goes away. And the M mode, of course, drops you right to manual, which I found was good. I like using the manual shift on this automatic because this guy hunts 7th gear like a hound dog. But unfortunately, it's constantly driving to get into 7th gear, which on this car, in many situations, is like 1,000 RPM. Let's see, the lane departure technology is pretty good. As you approach the center line, you get the stick shake on the wheel like you're supposed to, and it keeps doing it halfway into the next lane. So hopefully that'll get your attention at some point. If not, you may have died behind the wheel. Who knows? As for the blind spot tech, it works great. You know, it's well calibrated, but I find the indicators are too far out in the mirror. If they were here in the post, like a lot of other cars who shall go unnamed, they get my attention a lot more rapidly. In sum, it accomplishes what a big dollar Mercedes is supposed to do, a big, quiet, huge power ride that has a presence, but this is not the kind of car you get a grin from driving. You get a grin from being singing in it. Now, when you're done driving a car with so little road feel, you may as well have it park itself. The automatic parking is excellent. You approach a spot with your signal on, put the car in reverse when the blue parking icon points at the spot, work the pedals gradually while the car does the backing in and steering, then pop it in drive and let the car nibble that last bit to straighten itself out. Tidy. Okay, let's price this 2012 CLS 550. It's 72.2 base. Lots of tech is in there. You're going to get the navigation, Harman Kardon audio, most of the interesting digital inputs, but you got to add a few things. There's a Premium 1 package for $4,400, and that guy brings you iPod and aux, rear view camera, which ought to be stock, adaptive, all LED front lights, keyless go, bunch of other niceties. A chunky package, but a lot's in there. For $2,900, you can get the driver assistance. That's the adaptive cruise, the automatic braking, the blind spot stuff, and the lane departure warnings. And the last thing you want to think about is the parking technology. Front and rear sensors and the parking assist logic. That's a little under $1,000, but if you need it, you know who you are.